What's up everyone and welcome to the club. Today we'll be creating a pencil illustration of a dragon. Now the secret to drawing with pencil is to start with the basic shapes first before we add in the details. So let's start by adding some guidelines to help with the balance and symmetry of our drawing. We'll start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. Starting from the very top, just going to lightly work our way down the center, down towards the bottom. Let's move back to the center and draw another line going across from left to right. Let's use these two lines to help us create a circle in the center of our page. From the center point, we're going to move up. So I want to mark off the top of our circle right about there. Now, we're going to measure that distance from the center down towards the bottom and do the same thing. Let's repeat that across this horizontal line. So measure the distance from the center over towards the left and then the right side. Now I want to connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle. Let's start with the top left, and this circle doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using this as a guide. You can always go back and just smooth this out. Now with our circle and guidelines in place, we're going to start blocking out the facial features. Let's start from the left side of our circle. We'll draw a straight angle line going up and out. Just want to go to the right side of that center line, and we'll just extend that out past the side of our circle. Let's go back down towards the bottom. We're just going to angle the brow, going up and out with a straight line, and it'll follow this angle going across and then out. Let's add another line going across the bottom of our circle from left to right. Let's go halfway down the side of the brow. I'm just going to angle this down and then out. Let's pull this down and in towards the chin. Now I'm going to add a point along the chin. I'm just going to curve this around and over towards the left. Bend this in and then up. Let's go down to the bottom of our circle. We're going to curve the neck, going all the way around and then forward towards the left. Now we're going to do the same thing across the back of the neck. Starting from the top of our circle, just going to go out, come all the way around, and then down towards the bottom. Now that we have the basic shape of the head, let's go and start adding in the details. We're going to start with the eye. We're going to start underneath the brow, come across, and just tuck the eye in underneath the brow. Now we're going to blend this brow in towards a horn. So from the top, just going to bend this up, taper that down towards that bottom line. Now let's place a horn in behind. We're going to start up here, draw that same curve going up, and then tuck that in behind. Let's extend the back side of the brow going out and then down. And then up here, draw a straight line going across the top of the nose, and then bend that out. Let's go to the bottom of the mouth, going up. Just going to add the curve going across, bend this up across the middle of our circle, and then out towards the side. I'm just going to open up the mouth slightly around the corner and then pull that back in. Now the jaw is going to sit along the outside of the circle on the right, so let's tuck a horn in behind. Starting from the top, then it's out and up, and then pull that back in towards the side. Let's layer the back horn in behind. Now we're going to add a seam across the neck, going down, and then right here we're just going to layer in some spikes, just curving this across and then back up towards the side of our circle. And we want to work our way up, just adding this layer, going across. Now that we have a rough sketch, we want to clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. Now you use this rough sketch as a guide to layer on some more detail and refine the shapes. Now I'd like to start with the eyes. Let's start with the brow. Starting from the bottom, I'm just going to curve this around, and I'm be applying these thick and thin lines. So adding some thick lines across the bottom edge, just near the shadows. And then along the top, we're going to add some scales. So we're going to go across that line, and then just bend that up towards a point. Now I just want to taper this down and then in. I'm going to add these layers, starting back at that line, going up, and then pulling that back down. Let's add a few more. And we'll go all the way up towards the tip of that horn. And go back and just round out the brow. And I want to add some shape along the bottom edge. So I'm going to curve this up and then out. Let's tuck the bottom of the eye in underneath. Just darkening up the bottom edge of the eyelid. On the inside. Now I'm just going to tuck the iris underneath the brow. Just going to lightly trace this in. Darken out the ends and the pupil over on the left side. Just darken up the inside of the eyes. Now from here, we're going to work our way out, just adding some folds around the eye. Just going to come down, just adding a fold across the front of the mouth. And we'll add some shape across the beak. Coming across, another curve coming down towards the tip of the nose. Let's layer the back side of that brow in behind. Add a nostril along the inside. Just going to add a little bit of a trim detail around the cheeks, going around the mouth, and just fading that out. Now with the chin, we're just going to add a fur texture. Just adding some layers across and pulling some extra points coming down. Just going to blend that out underneath the chin. Now inside that gap, we're just going to add those fangs. Just adding these curved lines, starting from the left and working our way across. Now across the jaw, we're just going to add these points. Just add some smaller ones on the inside, and they'll blend into those larger ones across the jaw. Just going to round out the inside. Now I'm going to go back and add these smaller spikes inside, just layering them on top. I'm going to add a few more in between, almost like scales. Now with the back of the neck, we're just going to add some wisps of fur. Just going to pull this out and then tuck that back in. We're going to add some layers across the bottom of the fur, just pulling this in, and then underneath the horns we'll add a little bit of texture coming down. Let's add some ridges across the front of the neck. So we're going to start with these small curves as a guide, starting from the top, just working our way across. And we're going to go back and just layer those on top of each other, starting from the top and then tucking the second one underneath. Add some more wrinkles underneath the eyes. And some cracks across the top of the brow. Now we're going to go back and just clean up our drawing one final time before we add in our shading. Now in this final stage, we're just going to use the side edge of our pencil to add some shadows. So we're going to start underneath the eyes, just adding a dark shadow just underneath the brow, and then fading that down. And be very subtle with these shadows as well. Darken up the tip of the nose, and then fade that up. We're also going to add a shadow across the back of that horn, and then also along the bottom. Now across the top of the brow, we're just going to add a little bit of a reflective shadow. Just set in, just from the top, and just working our way across towards the tip of the horn. And once we finished adding on our shadows, we'll be sure to sign our artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a pencil illustration of a dragon. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please make sure you subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single day. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.